So you want to try and see if you can fit all of these words into the boxes, all of these words into the boxes that they fit in, and then, which will be L or la, and you want to take those words that you have in the L or la box and write the plural versions in the los and las box. You should feel satisfied if this is easy to you and you get 5 words in each box, but if you feel like you're struggling some, you want to take the time and get as many words in here as you can. So we're going to go ahead and move on to level 2, and you can see that in level 2, we're working on all the words that don't end in O and don't end in A. So what I want to do is tell you guys, let me move these rules back down here. I'm going to move them down here where we can see them. We know the first thing we're doing is we're asking ourselves, is it male or female? This should say 1, 2, 3, not 4, 5, 6. We're asking if it's male or female, and if we can't tell, then we're going to look at the last letter and see if it's O or A. And then if we can't tell from O or A, we're looking to see, is there any article that maybe precedes the word that's going to help us see if it's male or female? And there are other articles like un and una, unos and unas, and you can kind of tell where they would go. But in general, you're going to be looking to see if it shows any clue to whether it's male or female. But if none of that is there to help you, I say boys are loners. Now, this doesn't mean that boys like to be alone or males like to be alone. What this means is that the words that are going to fit on this side of the graph typically end in L, O, N, E, R, or S. So you look at a word like, for example, profesor, and you're going to say, is profesor a loner? Well, does it end in L? No. O? No. N? No. E? No. R? Yes, it is a loner. So we would say el profesor, actually. And it would be los profesores. This brings me to a good point where you can see that if your word doesn't end in a vowel, it's not enough to just put an S here. We don't say profesores. We have to say profesores. But while we have words like niño, that becomes niños, or the word nube, that will become nubes when they have an E at the end. Let's see if there's a word that ends in E up here that we can use. Arte. Arte is a good one. So the word arte, you can see it is a loner because it ends in an E. So if we say el arte, you can see down here, it's okay to say los artes, the art and the arts. I'm going to erase this one because I don't want to give you too many answers for your worksheet, but you want to go and fill this in now with singular words that are loners, and here with singular words that are female. It is important to go ahead and see the female endings, although it's probably okay if you don't remember them right away. I think checking to see if a word is a loner and then making it a male if it is and female if it's not is a great way to get started in a Spanish class. But if you are a little more ambitious and you can remember A, D, Z, and sion, there should be an accent on this O. I am going to add that because it's good for you to see and it's good for you when you try this assignment on your own. So we're going to do an O with an accent. Yes, looking for sion. So our words, if you look at a word like nacionalidad, we will try the word pared. It's a good one to start with. Pared means wall. You look at pared and you see, is it a loner? No, it's not a loner because it doesn't end in L-O-N-E-R or S. It actually ends in A-D-Z or sion. You would have been able to figure that out even if you didn't quite remember these. So we would be able to say la pared, and we would say here, las paredes. I hope that you are coming along nicely with this. So I typically ask my students, knowing that these words can't end with just S and that we have to add a vowel to make it ES. If we had a word like profesor on its own with no article and the onus was on you to figure out if it was male or female, which letter would help you know that this is male? Which letter here in paredes would help you know that this word was female? What you want to see is that we can't rely on the ES. It's what makes it plural. So it's the word that precedes the ES or the word that precedes the S that makes it a male or female. So in this case, it's the word D in pared that makes it fit with the A, D, Z, and sion. And on our other case here with profesores, it's the letter R here that makes it a loner. I understand that this is a lot to grasp from just hearing, but I assure you with the practice of putting these words into the right box and the challenge that I have of the game we will play together, with your trial and error, you will be able to improve and make this as easy as cake. So if you're studying for a test or a quiz on this, I hope this helps you a lot. But if you're prepared to practice on your own, what I have right under here is a way you can test your own knowledge. Let me add in one more comment before we begin. In Spanish, words like paz, you can see ends with a Z, but it becomes la paz. In this box here, what many of you will have are las pazes. Notice that this was pronounced paz, and this is pazes, more like mazes, pazes. And we don't want this sound. We want it to sound like pases, pases. So the only way to do this when you have a word that ends in Z, when it becomes plural, we actually use C. This is okay when you see the word pases, the pieces. This word isn't very true. This is peace. It's also the capital of a country in South America. But this word pases will be the plural of P-A-Z. So other words that do this is the word lápiz. It becomes lápices. The word maíz for corn becomes maíces, corns. And so we want to change this to C-E-S from Z-E-S. People typically in my class learn this from making the mistake and me correcting it. And if you're taking my test or my quiz and you make this mistake, I'm just going to highlight it and say, hey, you want to practice changing this to C. This is not something that I'm grading you for. So I feel like this video is running a little bit long. I want you all to go ahead and give this a shot. And you want to be able to add in, at least 5 words in each box where we have our level 2 type words that don't end in O or A. And then here, if you want to practice some more, we want to put the right article in front of these words, el, la, los, or las. I'll give you a hint. They're all singular. And then here in this second 9 boxes, we want to go ahead and put the plural version of each of these. So if this was el lobo, what you want here is los lobos. Share it with me. If I'm not too busy, I'd love to take a look. You guys, thank you for tuning in for another Spanish lesson. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Adios.